takes about 6 months to do a rally, because every road that gets closed, you have to get permission from all the local authorities, including the provincial administration, the municipal, the divisional, the regional. And you have to then, once those permissions in, you have to then go and canvass everybody who has an entrance onto that road and get them to sign.
Rallies in this part of the world is probably a bit quicker than, or the Cape rallies is probably a bit quicker than elsewhere, so I suppose we would get up to about 220 on some of the stages.
Well, you know, after every event the car gets stripped down, right down, and been overhauled completely for every event, so it's like a new car.
As jy die kar kan rol en so aan en met die belde wat ons dra oor ons skouers en goeders, kan jy basies omtrent nie seer kry nie, behalwe as jy omtrent 300 voet van 'n kraans afval.
These things today, 20,000 before you even service them. Cars are a lot better, and it's come from, a lot of things have come from motorsport.
'n Tydren is 'n spanpoging. Dit hang nie net van die bestuurder af nie. Die kar moet goed voorberei wees. Die dienspan moet weet wat hulle doen op 'n tydren. So aan die einde van die dag, soos hulle in Engels sê, it's a team effort.
08 there. Make it 08.
Man and well-tuned machines together at the start of the second South African rally of the season from the Montague Pass outside George to the friendly city of Port Elizabeth on the 12th of March. Almost 200 kilometers of the total distance of 500 accounted for special stages. 33 cars were entered, the day looked good, and Serge Damso was first off. Damso and navigator Vito Bonafide in their four-wheel drive turbocharged Toyota Conquest were starting as favourites, having taken the honours in the Tour de Valvoline in Durban beforehand. That win gave him 34 points in Class A for the series. After 18 months of racing abroad and having finished behind Damso in the Valvoline, Cyril van der Merwe and regular navigator Frans Boshoff were very much intent in squeezing every ounce of power out of their Southern Sun Audi Quattro Sport and gaining the laurels. Those who watched at the Montague Pass start were not disappointed. The highly competitive Passat Synchro 4x4 was a top contender in Class B. Nick de Waal and Guy Hodgson having been a formidable team over the years, spearheading Class B for Volkswagen. They were the winners in this class in the Valvoline and came third overall. Cassie Coetzee and Wiley Harrington headed the Nissan Skyline. An impressive performance was expected from them, and the manner in which they started indicated that they too meant business. Nissan used the Volkswagen Algoa Rally as a testing ground for their new Skyline V6 4x4 Turbo. Hannes Grobler and Piet Swanepoel had the great responsibility of driving and enjoying this new machine. The 11 stages ahead would be the test. The hard-driving Johan Evertse and Steve Harding got into the true rallying spirit and style in their Lindsay Saker Audi Quattro Sport. Incidentally, this heavyweight was full of fire, being the original model of Quattros raced in this country. They knew that the seconds would count and got on with the task superbly. Backup crews are a vital part of the team in any motorsport, but even more so in rallying. The Golf GTI of Vilaka Thomas and Miranda was one of the first and few casualties. Stage 3 commenced at the De Vlucht Pass, with Supervan van der Merwe cracking a possible winning pace and sharing a few thoughts.
If you have time to think about anything other than the road in front of you, then you're not going fast enough.
From high in the sky, an aerial view of Terry and Castley in their Corolla cruising along the scenic and historical Prince Alfred's Pass. Car number 3, Nick de Waal, powers his high-performance Passat away from the start at stage 3. The Prince Alfred's Pass section of the VW Algoa Rally was spectacular from any angle. Here, the 4x4 skyline of Grobelaar is angled through the corners with meticulous and masterful care. Damso was surging ahead in the quest of line honours too at De Vlucht. The overall position and points are always important, but so are each class results in rallying. Class C eventually went to the stalwart Volkswagen husband and wife team of Ben and Isabel van der Westhuizen in their Golf CSL, even though they were penalised by 10 seconds for a shortcut along the route in the heart of the Lang Kloof. The Top Sport Super Driver Series was held at the Aldo Scribanti circuit outside the friendly city before the rally. The winner, Kasi Gutsia, now in his skyline at the De Vlucht start. Audi Quattro Sport superpower once again in the form of Evertse and Harding, seen from the Volkswagen-sponsored helicopter on Prince Albert's Pass. At this stage, they were very much in contention. Slip sliding away, or is it to a halt, complete with a dented front fender, Cyril van der Merwe at the pass finish. It was the last time we captured the big guns of the VW team on film. Was something sinister going to negate their seemingly winning pace? The works Toyota Corolla of Roelof Fecken and Francois Jordan heading towards the same finishing point. So many factors influence a team's performance in rallies. The weather conditions, the fitness and mental alertness of the driver and navigator, and the backup crews who service and sometimes have to repair cars in pressure situations. Hannes Grobelaar brings his machine in at the Prince Albert's Pass finish. Still a long way, full of concentration and energy-sapping saga. The main Apple co-op of the Lang Kloof at Avontuur was the important servicing point and a short respite for the teams. Clean the windscreen, the computer on the big Quattros and Skylines. No real time for a major overhaul though. After a sunny start, the clouds and raindrops caused some concern amongst the organisers, but the show went on. They're internationally known as Yumps and take it out on the suspensions and drivers. Lorita was the yumping stage this year. Evertse seemed totally undeterred by the jerking motions. Just point her in the right direction, boy. 1, 2, 3, 4 and up and away. Evertse, Gutsia, Damso and De Waal enjoying every moment of it. But where is Supervan? A wrong route, accident, or what? A lot was and will still be said about the tragedy that befell the unlucky motoring man. The simple truth, though, is that their Quattro ran out of fuel, not your average Van der Merwe joke. Lunch was held at Jubertino. The organisers, in fact, cancelled the next 2 stages owing to the weather making certain secondary roads impossible. Louis Parson and Robert Curry withdrew their private entry Golf GTI, while Tony Ball and Renelle Dams worked on the wheels of their bright City Golf. With Van der Merwe no longer a threat, Damso must have felt far more easy, but was not losing time or concentration at the start of stage 9 at the Berg River. His time up until then, 1 hour, 14 minutes. Evertse cornered our cameraman on the Berg River section, or should I say, doused him in Lang Kloof dust. The Passat Synchro 4x4 from Johannesburg with Nick de Waal at the wheel exhilarated the appreciative onlookers with a flying finish at the Berg River. At the start of the Berg River stage, the one of the 6 Skylines in the event, driven by Koos Roos, raced off at a lightning pace. Car number 8 eventually averaged a speed of 95.3 kilometers per hour over the 11 stages raced. Kasi Gutsia was competing in a race within a race with the other Skylines in Class B. Krobler and Swanepoel were meanwhile taking care of the Class A points in their Big Daddy 4x4 Turbo and doing a good job of it too. Vecken and Jordan again. Their Corolla averaged a speed of 91.5 kilometers per hour. Not at all bad for a car in Class F, where the VW Golfs were the main opposition. Jannie Habig and Ewald van Rensburg creeping into the top 10 times and giving Nissan a good chance for the manufacturer's challenge. Glenn Gibbons and Peter Cuffey were equally team-orientated in their Toyota Corolla. The 28 entries that made it to the final stage swept through Uitenhage, the hometown of Volkswagen, the sponsors, on their way to Port Elizabeth. Over 5,000 folk from the friendly city and surrounds turned up late on the Saturday afternoon outside Checkers Warehouse at the Greenacre Shopping Centre to see the final stage of the exciting rally. Cassie Coetzee and his Class B Skyline kicked off first to a tumultuous applause. This is where the fundies and onlookers alike can get a close-up of their favourite rally drivers and cars and inevitably see a few thrills and spills, as readers see later. Surfers do it off the nip, but sometimes the rally drivers do it off the curb. They're in such a hurry to make every millisecond count. Coetzee went around the tight final stage in 1 minute 14 seconds. Despite carrying the heaviest penalty time of all the entries, Nick de Waal put in a spirited display at Greenacres, sliding the Passat Synchro at breakneck speed. His time for this stage, 1 minute 11 seconds, the third fastest. Here's where he lost those vital 20 seconds. He would come up fourth overall and a second in Class B. Great motivation for the next event on the SA rallying calendar. Johan Evertse took over the Volkswagen colours when Van der Merwe fell off during stage 3. By the time they took up the starting blocks for the final and spectacular stage, he and his Lindsay Saker Audi Quattro Sport were a marginal 4 seconds behind his main rival in Class A, Serge Damso. Our in-car camera shows just what a rough ride this final stage was. Not your usual Sunday afternoon drive. Short-wheel-based Audi Quattro is not the easiest or most comfortable on any rallying surface. His time, 1 minute 10 seconds. The times were becoming quicker, as was the heartbeat of the Toyota team. Everything lay at stake for the Toyota Conquest 4x4 Turbo of Damso. Not only the prize money, but more than that, the honour of winning his third consecutive rally. Number one wanted to be number one. Take a precise handling and a breakneck speed to hold off Evertse. The crowds knew it too. He had won stages 5, 10 and 11, but this was the crucial one. Trails of burnt rubber, jumping curbs, full throttle and go man go as the clock ticked on. 45 seconds. 1 minute. 1 minute 9 seconds. A winning time for Damso and Bonafide, whose team effort gave them a final 5-second lead over Evertse. Class C was very much a hot contest. It's not only the mega machines that give the drivers a shot of adrenaline. Glenn Gibbons and Peter Cuffley, car number 11, gave the expectant audience the type of thrill you really enjoy in rallying. Watching in slow-mo, it was a case of oversteering, back wheel already up, and the curb did the rest. These then are the highlights of the spectacular 1988 Volkswagen Algoa rally. The class positions on your screen. The overall positions: Serge Damso and Vita Bonafide in the Conquest 4x4. Second, Johan Evertse and Steve Harding in the Audi Quattro Sport. And third, Cassie Coetzee and Wiley Harrington in the Nissan Skyline.